Good morning, everybody. And normally I don't have all these lights on, especially at 0 dark 30 on a Sunday. But a little change of plans here today. I had another idea for a video, but been battling the Rona. Got the Rona, and I've turned the corner, thankfully, and everybody in my house is good, safe. But that kind of took some of the wind out of my sails, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little fish room tour and tell you about what's going on in each one of these tanks. I hope you guys will enjoy it. So I turned the lights on this morning. They're normally on timers, but for the purpose of this video, they're all on. So right here is a 20-gallon long as you walk into the room, and I call this my miscellaneous tank. Yeah, it's a lot of glare, I know. Let's see here if I can do something. So there's not a lot of light in this tank normally. It's a nice crib I got there. It's low light, does really well. There's a window directly opposite this room, so it does get some natural lighting. And so what I've got here is it's miscellaneous because I've got some gouramis here. You can't really see them, but let's see here if I can get closer. All right, that is an Australian rainbow. It should be in a bigger tank, so miscellaneous right now because I don't have a bigger tank that I want to put them in. Thought I was going to do something with that and hadn't done that yet. So these gouramis are special. I've got a gourami project. You guys may or may not know, but these guys were bred here in my fish room. And my stud gourami, Big Daddy, and his girlfriend Blue Mama. I'll put a card up here if you want to kind of get a quick shot of them in my first ever intro video. You can see who they are. But anyways, these fish here spawned from them. And so my idea is to make some purple gouramis, and that's an ongoing project. And so this is the first batch of purple, even though you really can't see any purple yet. It's going to happen though. You might be able to see some. Let's see. But anyways, that's what's going on in this tank right now, and I'm about to start getting ready to... I've got at least 2 males and definitely some females here, and I want to see if I can get if I can breed a couple of these gouramis and see if the purple, if I can get that to come out more pronounced in the next spawn. Anyways, the lighting is not conducive to showing you the purple sheen that they have, but trust me, it is there. Then I've got some high kingfin leery tails in here, or rather, well, we just call them a tangerine sword. They're not really all high kingfin, and they're not leery tails. So leery tails are the fish that have the, you know, tail at the end, but it kind of looks like a double tail. So for those of you that are not sure. And when you spawn a batch of these leery tails, not all of them come out high kingfin leery tail, just a percentage. A lot of them will just come out like this. These are, of course, we're talking about the males with the swords. Females don't have the swordtail. So anyways, I got a couple of males here in there as well, and they seem to get along. There you go. Maybe you can see a little bit of that purple there. And it's just basically a holding tank, really. Just down here is a 20-gallon high. And I just threw this pair in. I'm hoping they'll... this is a beautiful pair of Marble Veil Angels, which obviously I'm dealing with a lot. A lot of my videos are talking about angelfish. So I've gotten into breeding them. And I would love to see if this pair, this is the female here, I put a slate in there for them already. And here's the male. I would love to see if they will spawn for me. I would love to see what kind of baby fish they throw out. I mean, look at the color on these guys, all right? So that's what's going on there. Just trying to get that going. Pan over here to the left, the lower shelf here on this one. This is a tank that I am going to be redoing here soon. It's all just bristlenose plecos in here. I've got one female and like 3 males. I wish it was the other way around, but it's not. So there's a cave and the male's in there, and I've had a spawn. I've had a few babies in here, but I did not know. I'm still learning here on these bristlenose plecos. I didn't know that, you know, that I need to pull those babies or pull the grown-ups out because they'll get eaten. It's very possible they got taken up by the intake here. Plecos are messy, and they'll foul the water up real quick if you only got them in a 20, especially with that high of a fish load in here for plecos, which is why I've got this Cascade 1000 hooked up to this, and I've got that hang-on back filter right in there, as you can see. Full disclosure, it's water changing day to day too, so I'll probably get to it tonight. Anyways, you can't see the fish. Obviously they're hiding. It's normally dark right now, so they're probably not too happy. There's another male. So yeah, I've got a filter, I've got a sponge filter, I've got a hang-on back filter right there. You can see it's in need of some maintenance. That's going to happen. And then I've got the canister filter going. So lots of filtration for these guys, but this tank's gonna get redone. I think I'm gonna go to a smaller piece of driftwood. You can see this driftwood here is all the way out. It's just too big for this tank. A smaller piece of driftwood, and I'd like to redo the tank and have it in such a way, maybe just more caves, not so cluttery in here, because the next time I see some babies, I gotta have it in such a way, this tank set up, that I can either pull the babies or take the adults out. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do all that yet, but that's a project in the works too. Coming up here to the top level, I've got my 3 amigos here, the polar blues. Hybrid of the parrot cichlid and the convict cichlid. They stay smaller though. They're really cool. They always usually come out to greet me, but again, it's an odd hour of the day for lights on full bright. So yeah, this one here is ready. Oh look, there she's like, hey, what's going on there? Is it food time? No, it's not food time yet. But anyway, so there I've got the, that's a 20 long, by the way. And again, plecos are down here, you know. There's a miscellaneous new angelfish breed pair that I'm trying to breed. And then just pan on over here. I had a whole bunch of high kingfin leery tail we hope fry. There's only 2 left in this tank. I've migrated them over into a 20 long, you'll see here in a second. So this is really a 10-gallon tank with a lot of guppy grass, which I'm totally stoked about. I just love that. And I'm gonna move them over as well, and then I'll have a tank so to do something with, and that's where we're at there. Going on, and we'll just there you go. So these are the parents of all the fry. I did a video on them already. Put a card right there. Maybe right there. Yeah. Check that out. But they're awesome. And I'm really amazed at how many fry she put out in one spawn. You'll see here in a second. And I couldn't even get all the fry out of the tank when I moved them into this 10 for a while. I still have some I couldn't get to that are still in this tank with the parents. and they parent well. As far as I know, they haven't eaten any. I've seen no evidence that they're just chomping down on the fry at all. That's kind of cool. It's a huge sword in here. It's already growing out of the tank, actually. It's kind of growing immersed now. And I have this other video. I think I want to start doing videos, another type of video on Wednesdays, but not yet. But down the road, when I get more of these, when I get better, and I'll do like these Wednesday drops of just other things that are not fish related. And the reason I'm telling you that is because what you're seeing here is I've got this video where I'm doing I've got this huge bird of paradise plant in my patio, and I tried to propagate it. So there you go, maybe a little preview to that here sometime soon. Anybody wants to see that, let me know. But anyways, I'm trying to save this. I dumped it in here, and there's a root in there, and it hasn't died, and it's been months. So, it's not thriving either, but it's being sustained, I guess. So that would be cool. But anyway, so you can see some of the babies in here. This is a 20 long. It's I wouldn't say it's heavily planted, but there's a sword plant in here, and it's kind of wilting, kind of not. It's a dirted tank, so many of my tanks are just dirt and capped with some pea pebble. I used Miracle Grow Performance, so it's already got nutrients. There's some babies down there. And then if we go down here, this is my biggest tank thus far. It's a 55. There's a lot of stuff here in the way, sorry. And these are my favorite of all of my angels. These are angelfish that I purchased off of a friend, and I picked them from the 100 that I purchased. So these are some of the prettier ones that I want to keep, and hopefully I can get them to pair off. In here you're going to see some black angels or black laced, and they're smaller, and that's because on one of my first or second batches I decided I wanted to just keep some for myself, and that's I'm referencing my my black laced and black pair that I'm breeding in the living room. They're breeding for me in the living room, actually. Anyway, so you might see some of them in here too. Just wanted to grow some of those out, make sure I keep some for myself. So if you watched any of my videos, you'll see that I'm starting to sell these. I have a friend who's getting them into local stores, which is kind of cool, and then I do sell them on Aquabid. And I've actually had one person reach out to me already, waiting to hear back from him, just through YouTube, which is kind of cool. So, anyways, they're beautiful. They're happy here in a 55 right now. Well, I will say, the ones that are at the store I sold 12 of these into a store, and they went from this 55 to a 225, and those guys are much happier now in that huge beautiful tank in that store. Maybe I can throw in some video of that here when I go to post-production. See if I can get a few of the little ones in here. Look, here's a little guy right here. Alright, so the focus is just here's the biggest one of the biggest one I've got so far. Man, isn't that fish beautiful? Look at that. Interesting on the tail. I don't know if that's a feature that fish can get as far as angels, or if it's just kind of like an odd sort of genetic dysfunction there on the bottom of the tail. If anybody knows, let me know. Or if that's just a feature sometimes, I don't know. I like it though, it looks cool. Looks very cool. The fish is beautiful. There's some littler guys. I don't know, this one seems to have the same thing going. It might be just a thing with this particular strain of angelfish. I'm noticing that. Anyhow, let's move on. It's a huge sword plant in here. This sword plant's doing much better. I think it looks healthier than the one up top on that 20 long. I don't fertilize very often. Maybe I should fertilize a little more as far as liquid ferts, because again, I've got nutrients down here from the, this is also a dirted tank with the Miracle Grow Performance. So, and I've noticed that I've got on this sword plant here that I've got a few runners now. Let's see if I can't show you. Like this is right here. That's coming off of, yeah, let me show you here. There we go. Sorry, I'm doing this handheld now, so it's a little shaky, and I do apologize for that. But yes, that's a runner coming off of this main sword. There's Space Monkey. Those of you guys not familiar, he's a fish that would normally have gotten culled, but I didn't want to do that. So now he's in the 55. He was in the living room. So yeah, you can see that I've got a runner coming off of this. So at some point, I'm going to do something with those and maybe propagate them out into different tanks. We'll see. Moving on, let's going to pan over here to the left now. That's the 55. And that's actually this whole side here now. So I got the 55 here. I've got a 20 long right up here with the parents on the high kingfin leery tail project. The empty 10 now, with the exception of the 2 little leery tail fry that I want to put over there on that side. I'm just kind of give you an idea of where we're going here in this room. So started here on the miscellaneous. I got that new, hopefully will be a breeding pair down there at the bottom. Pleco tank. All right, quick review. There's the polar blues. The 3 amigos are coming out, and so get the idea of, I'd like you to have an orientation of the room. So just kind of, we'll come right here now. This here is, I went on to Aquabid and I purchased some fry for a new breed of a strain of an angelfish called Philippine blues. They're a little more rare. And you're probably thinking, well, there's nothing blue about them. You're right, not yet. So I'm hoping they'll color up as they get bigger, but this is a 20-gallon long. And just Google if you want. If you're interested to see what they look like, you'll get an idea of what they will look like when they grow out, hopefully here. Philippine blues. And so I just got them in this 20 long, I'm growing them out, and at some point, hopefully, you know, I'll get a pair out of here and I can start breeding some Philippine blues. So that's what's going on here. Down here, I've got some more of my favorite marble vels. Now, she was in that tank over there with another male, and the male died. So that's why I was like, let me start over with 2 new pair. And that's interesting. You can see they're starting to clean the slate over there. And that's a good sign, because that tells me that once they start picking and start cleaning the slate, they're thinking about spawning. And they'll, that's the process. You know, before they throw any eggs on a slate, they're going to clean it. Whatever that means. But in the angel world, that's what they do. And so these are some more of my favorite ones that I would like to pair up. And yeah, so this hobby of mine here, it's crazy. It started with a beta like 2-3 years ago for my son, and this is what it's turned into. In here I have another pair of cichlids. They're very rare, and I'm not even, Lampergus ocellatus. I know I'm saying that wrong right now. And I got them off a buddy. And if they could just breed for me, that's the male. They're shell dwellers. Female usually likes to hang out up here. Let's see if I can get her. I don't see her right now. She might be asleep. Oh, there she is. The females are much smaller. She's really cute. If I could just kind of get a better shot of her. And the male's down here at the bottom. We got a little PVC pipe action. I guess he goes in there sometimes. But I've got some shells for them down here, way in the back. And the male likes to hang out back there, and they'll go into their shells and hang out, whatever. So I'm hoping that they'll spawn for me at some point. It really hasn't happened. It probably should have, but I think that I don't have them quite in the right environment it's conducive to triggering some spawning for them. So again, another project, right? So that's what's going on here on this side. Let's walk around over to the other side. Oh wow, let's hope I don't lose power here. I'm turning this light on so you can kind of see this. I don't have a light on this tank. And the reason I don't have a light on this tank is because it sits right here in the window, so I don't really need a light. I get indirect sunlight coming through this side of the house, so I just open up the blinds during the day. You can clearly see there's not an algae problem here at all. And so here's all those leery tail fry. Got plenty of them. I'm thinking 6 of these fry, unsexed obviously, for 40 bucks plus shipping. Anybody who wants that deal, contact me via my Gmail. Let's work it out. That's the deal I'm going to throw on Aquabid. So, and there's a high kingfin leery tail, fully grown. He is like their uncle. Truly, he is. All right, walking through over here to the other side. All right, this tank, I can't remember what it was, but now what it's become is a shrimp tank and a bunch of dwarf top minnows. I purchased these dwarf top minnows from Aquabid as well. They're one of the smallest live bearers, the cousin to the more rare tiger teddies, which I had, by the way, and they died on me. And I'm very sad about that because I want them and I can't find them. It took me over a year to get them. So I'm on the hunt for some tiger teddies. But these little fish are great. I mean, these fish, they come right out of Florida. These little these dwarf top minnows. Let's see if we can catch a few here. So little. There we go. Now I'm in focus. And I've got them in here with some cherry shrimp. The cherry shrimp, as you can see, look like giants compared to these guys. So it's a great, cool little fish for a nano tank. And the guppy grass just does so well in here. What I end up doing is, once it gets really full, which it pretty much almost is here, I'll just take like half of this out and I'll put it in another tank and I'll start going again. So at some point, maybe I can start selling some guppy grass and helping to supplement my hobby, right? So once you start getting into fish like this and you start getting tanks, you start looking to do things like that because, it's not cheap, obviously. I mean, that's why I did the video last week on how to get a tank and, not to feel like you can't afford getting into it, because you can. But once you start scaling up like this, yeah, you start looking to, you're motivated to try to get some of that money back. And, it's not work to do that when you're doing it anyway because you love it. Sorry, I panned down here. So that was the, I'm rambling on. So that's the 10 right here on the other side. And then if you just pan down here, I've got this 40-gallon breeder. Again, plenty more marble bells from my buddy Wade, who I acquired these from. They're looking great. I pulled 12 out of here that went into the store. So actually the 12 weren't in that 55. They were in this 40 that went into the store. And they went from a 40 to a 225. So there's plenty of beautiful fish here as well. I had a lady drive in from Houston. A friend of mine, Melanie, went ahead and referred her to me. And she lost all her angels in that freeze about a month and a half ago. and so she's looking to acquire, or was looking to acquire, some angelfish, and got a hold of me, and I was happy to meet her on the outskirts of San Antonio, and she bought 7 fish for 15 bucks, and she loved them. I put them in breather bags, met her there, and she got home safely with her fish, and I'm happy. That was a win-win, because I wanted to. I'm looking to move these fish out, so I'm looking to move them out, either into stores, obviously, or to buyers who would appreciate some beautiful angelfish in their tank. So that's what's going on out of this tank here on this side. And then if you just pan over here, I've got really the last of my babies for angelfish are all right here together, and they're slowly being moved out and being put into fish stores by my friend who comes in here. And I'm also moving them out onto Aquabit as well. And these are like a combination of the golden marble bells, but for some reason this group here, and it just could be because they're small, but they didn't throw out a lot of color. But I do notice when they get bigger, you start seeing the color morphing coming through more. So it's just potentially that they're all just very young. They're like dime size. There's probably at least a couple hundred in here. So heavy fish load. And you've probably seen some of these guys already in another video, but again, this is just the all around general fish room tour. There's some black lace still, looking to move some of those. So that's 40. So if we come right back up here, we're going to take you up here to this 20 long now, which is just to the left of the 10 gallon with the dwarf topminnows. And here you go. So even though I put that card up, look at that. That's Big Daddy. Isn't he a beautiful gold gourami? And then this is Blue Mama. So I could try to have them spawn again. I'm slowly changing the water parameters to induce that, but I'm not doing it for them. I'm thinking really about taking them out, putting them in the miscellaneous tank on the other side, and taking 2 of their offspring, male and female, putting them in here and seeing if I can't get, again, the purple gouramis, for which I will call purple haze. So again, another project. Just gotta make time to, move fish around basically and start working in here, start putting in the work. I think this is this plant here is I think this is Bacopa. This plant here. It's pretty. It's a very slow grower. But man, it looks really nice in there. And granted, I've got some guppy grass now going on. Need to move that, I think. Only half of this tank is dirted and capped, and I think it's because I just ran out of dirt. That's what it was. I just did half the tank, and then as I moved over here, it's just all pea pebble and then big rocks. So, yeah, it wasn't like I set out to do it that way, but I needed to get this tank up, and this is what I had, so that's what I used. Got some green hair algae going on here. This is dwarf sage here. So usually they just like propagate through with their runners, and if it was all dirted, if it was a all dirted tank, God, I'm stuttering, then yeah, it would just keep taking over, which is the idea really. But again, I ran out of dirt. So anyway, so yeah, I have no problem growing algae, but this is real easy. You can just pull your hands in and it'll just all come up and come out. But I'm okay with it being there, because if I am going to have some fry at some point in here, that's perfect for them. They can eat a lot of that stuff up, and that'll help. Give them some nutrients, And so the last tank, is that the last tank? Yeah, it's the last tank, right? Yeah. At least in this room. Love these guys. Love these guys. These are still on the endangered, critically endangered list, off the CARES list. It's a wild type live bearer. the Gourami lion's eye, and I've had no problem getting these into homes, which is awesome. So in fact, I've got a guy I got to get back to who, a returning customer of mine who was inquiring about getting more of them, and then I said, let's wait till after the new year. And so I guess maybe it's on me to get a hold of him. But I had a bunch of fry in here, and like I said, I've almost depleted my stock. And then some of these fry are more like adolescents now, they're bigger. And then I did have another clutch spawn. So there are some little guys in here, but I'd like to at least get one more clutch going before I get back to that guy, so I can sell him what he wants, which are fry. And so plenty of females and males. The males color up on their tail. They have like a pink and blue sheen on them, which is kind of cool. I'm going to try to get one in here. There you go. And I just back out. There you go, there's two of them right there. So that's what's going on. That's a beautiful, I find that these plants here, these crypts, I've got them potted, but I find that they do really well in this tank. So if I ever get like another crypt, which I have one on the other side, if it starts wilting on me, I'll just switch them out, put them in here, and then it'll just come right back. For some reason, the lighting, the way I have this light just kind of coming over, it's not right over the tank. It just seems to be the right distance away from the plant, that these plants just really do well. So it's pretty cool. I did have some spawning mops in there for the babies. Got some duckweed in here in case anybody is not familiar with that. But yeah, this stuff here, it's like you get one little speck of this in a tank and prepare for an explosion of duckweed in your tank. So what happens once you get some of that. So. And then I do have some guppy grass in here on the 40. It's down there. I don't know how well it's doing. I might have to pull that out, maybe put it in here. In fact, why don't we do that right now? Let's see. Put my hand in there. If I can grab it. Look at that. Yeah, the angelfish are like, hey man, that's ours. All right. We'll put it in here now. There. Let's see how it does in this tank. I bet it'll do well, and it'll get really bushy and big. And if it does that, I'll make sure to take it out. I do have a current going on here. I have a little pump right there. Where is it? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. It's right here. The glare doesn't help. Sorry. There you go. And it just shoots water this way. So yeah, they're from the northern mountains of Mexico. In the streams there and the rivers. And so they appreciate a nice little current. And that's it. That's the Sunday morning tour here. Everything's nice and quiet in the fish room. All my fish are happy. They're just waiting for breakfast. And walking around. And I love being in here. Got some plants down here that I brought in. It's really cold outside now. We're in the 30s and 40s. So really all of my plants are in the house now, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, Philippine blues. We love them. Let's turn the light out for them. Let's get these lights going here. There's no point in running all this right now. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed my little tour of the fish room. And I'll have something a little bit more in the way of like really put together and editing here next week for you. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Love life.